Hi everybody, welcome to No Story is Sacred. If you've never listened before, basically we're 4 siblings who grew up talking about the art of storytelling. Now that we're adults, we're still talking about it, and we're inviting you to join the conversation. I'm Kat, and I was not prepared.
I'm Pippin, and I'm really more of a cat person.
I'm Alex, and I believe if you threaten someone in another language, if they respond in that language, don't try to follow up.
That's very specific.
And I'm Brendan McDonald.
Oh.
Today we're talking about the 2014 film John Wick, so spoilers abound. We want to give you a warning ahead of time for discussions of animal death. There's so much animal death.
One, but enough. Too much.
One is too much. If you want other specific content warnings about things we may talk about, check out the show notes on nostoryissacred.com. For those of you who haven't seen John Wick, the summary from Google is: legendary assassin John Wick retired from his violent career after marrying the love of his life. Her sudden death leaves John in deep mourning. When sadistic mobster Yosef Tarasov and his thugs steal John's prized car and kill the puppy that was a last gift from his wife, John unleashes the remorseless killing machine within and seeks vengeance. Meanwhile, Yosef's father, John's former colleague, puts a huge bounty on John's head. I think that's pretty much the story. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
So, this movie, right? We watched it because there was an animal companion.
Oh, God.
And one of our listeners, Liddy, was asking us what we thought about animal companions, and we were like, oh, we'll watch a movie with an animal companion so we can talk about it. Like, I knew that that the dog wouldn't make it, but I did not expect
The first 10 minutes.
the first time and to be so heartbroken.
I didn't know it was a puppy. I thought it was a dog.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it was a puppy, that was
and a really
bad.
cute beagle at that.
Named Daisy.
Oh, God, which was his... Okay, but you know what killed me? Absolutely killed me. I was not okay with the fact that, yes, the dog gets murdered basically on screen. I mean, they cut away, but there's like a shadow or something. But then, like, after all the bad guys leave, we get a solid minute of like 3 cut scenes of John Wick crawling bloody over to the dead puppy and then like cuddling the dead puppy and crying into it. And I'm like, no.
I was not emotionally prepared for this.
I wasn't emotionally prepared for this, man.
No one is.
I watched it with my dog.
Why would you do that? Why would you subject you?
Yeah,
Why would you?
Benji should have been there for that.
Why would you subject him to that?
He didn't care.
So, like, pointed out to Benji, that's what happens if you let the Russians in, Benji.
And that's why he barks. He barks because he cares. How many times
Fair
have Russian
enough.
gangsters broken in here? None.
I mean, that's science.
That is science.
Yep.
Correlation, causality, equal.
Yep. Well, I can tell you why they did that. At least, the theory as it goes. Because, have you guys ever heard of the I guess it's like a thing done for screenwriting especially, but it's just storytelling in general called, Save the Cat?
Yeah, I've heard.
No.
I've heard of that philosophy.
So,
I haven't.
it's a bit of slang, but the idea being, if you have any character and say like they're your protagonist and you kind of want to maybe do like an anti-hero vibe, you have to make sure within like the first 10 minutes to have that anti-hero, even though if they're a total asshole, they do one nice thing. And that one nice thing is that they go and save a cat from a tree. And that way the audience knows they're all
not
right.
all bad.
Yeah, they're not irredeemable.
I mean,
that's not. It's not really a one-to-one kind of thing.
But narratively, I can see it as a life choice. I think that maybe that we should try to strive a little higher than that.
Well, it's a broad thing. It could be also like, yeah, you know that asshole over there? He gives half his paycheck to orphans.
Yeah, and Hitler was a painter. I mean,
Hitler was vegetarian.
Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway, the point I was getting
Brendan
at is...
trying to get way from that.
Look at that shiny new change of subject. But the inverse of saving the cat is kicking the dog. This is, and it's a turn of phrase. But the idea being, if you want to make a bad guy so irredeemably bad that, you know what, you're okay with having a kind of unhinged man go and do an utter killing spree for 90 minutes, you know what? That dog kind of serves as the audience justification for the 90 minutes that follow. It's like, yeah, I'm strangely okay with having the Russian mob being single-handedly decimated by one man. Wow, he's violent. This would be ultra-violent if it weren't for that puppy, but you know what? I'm strangely on board for this.
Guy killed a fucking puppy, what can I say?
Yeah.
I want to take a moment to do a shout out to doesthedogdie.com.
I love you, doesthedogdie.com.
Just, throwing that out there for warnings of all kinds.
Not just whether the dog dies, but, oh god, does the cat die? Is there, child abuse? Do queer characters die? Which is very,
Are there spiders? Are there snakes? Are there jump scares? Does a dragon die? Apparently is one of them.
Okay.
But yeah.
What's kind of interesting is that beyond like the first 14 minutes or so of the movie, the rest of the story is fairly straightforward, action, like nonstop action, which, hey, when you're in the mood for just, watching Keanu Reeves
destroy everything.
Yeah.
I was telling someone, earlier that really, the movie John Wick is a series of fight scenes loosely held together with the plot.
Yes.
I actually have a good argument, a good discussion about what I think John Wick's genre is.
Yeah?
Okay.
Indeed. I think, how we have a comedy of manners? Mm-hmm. This is a revenge plot of manners. The biggest issue that happens in John Wick is that the son doesn't know how he should be behaving in this society.
He really doesn't.
A society of assassins, no less.
Society of assassins, but they have their own rules, they have their own things.
They have their own currency.
They have their own currency. The only people that fuck up John Wick's life at this point are the people who don't know the correct manners.
And really, that means that Yosef's father failed him.
Actually, yes, and that's part of the discussion that happens.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why Yosef's father had to die was that he also did not follow the rules. Like, one gets a sincere impression that if he had just, given up his son, be like, well, broke the fucking rules, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, Yosef.
John Wick would have been like, yep, that's the end. And the same thing happened with the assassin lady later. She broke the rules. That's what happens. And so everything is actually really carefully choreographed so that all these, villains basically can live amongst one another. And then some people fucked up.
Yeah.
You broke the peace.
You know what? I actually really like this movie.
Same, actually.
Yeah. I thought it was, no, the dog die was not cool. But I thought it was very well put together. And I actually want to do a shout out to, at least one of the music choices. Which was the song that sort of kept playing. We kill strangers so we don't kill our family.
Oh yeah. Oh.
And I'd have to go back to rewatch it because I get the feeling that maybe it was playing every time there was some sort of something that indicated that they weren't as close as they thought they were and they became strangers.
How do you mean?
Like, the only time I remember it playing was when, Willem Dafoe got killed.
Oh god, Willem Dafoe.
Aw, I liked his character.
He was a great character. but he had a role he was supposed to play. He was supposed to take the big hit, and he didn't. And so then he was killed, because he stepped out of this role, the role he was supposed to play, and became a stranger. He was no longer in the familiar role.
He did break the rules. He took a contract and double-crossed us.
But on the other hand, he took a contract for what was a, you know how there's that thing where, like, don't follow a law that's unjust? He took a hit that was unjust, so that's why he didn't take it. Like, he didn't actually murder John Wick. He was, trying to clear the field. Because that's not cool. That's not what you do. And this is just another level as to why, Yosef's dad had to, snuff it.
Whoa. I disagree. He could have not taken the contract.
Yeah, and also, Yosef's dad, he should have, given, Yosef up on the power, but also, Yosef was his son. He does have a higher responsibility as a father to protect his son.
I mean, I guess. So, but what it comes down to at the base is that he did not teach his son right about respecting. Although, on the other hand, this could also just be the natural attrition of time. We know that people who know of John Wick are all of a certain generation or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then this is the younger generation. We see the same thing with the assassin lady.
Perkins?
Yeah, Perkins.
Oh, yeah.
She's too young to know that, well, shit, if you fuck with the rules of the hotel or whatever, you fucking die. Like, all she knows is something bad will happen. Everybody who's older than her remembers, oh yeah.
Could this be like an allegory about generations that live through a war and the ones that go and live in the peacetime that follows?
Yes?
Well, it is a mob war.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure if that's what they were going for, but it's totally there.
People do not necessarily always know the stories they are telling.
Also, the author is dead, and intentional fallacy and all that jazz.
And that curtain, it's still blue.
What?
And a cigar is a cigar.
When it's not being a penis.
Zing?
That's what she said.
Another quick topic change that has nothing to do with anything.
Uh-huh.
What the fuck is the name of the Greyjoy?
Theon.
Theon Greyjoy! Okay. So, Yosef, is played by Alfie Allen, who also plays Theon. I spent the entire movie and these past few days going, what the fuck is his name?
Really? I'm like, oh yeah, it's him.
In my notes, I referred to him as what's his face, Greyjoy.
I didn't bother that much.
It was bothering me the whole time.
Okay, baby.
And I never bothered to actually look it up because I also don't care about Theon that much.
Oh, honey.
That's off topic, but I'm glad I have an answer now.
I kind of saw the beginning of the movie and I'm like, oh, Theon, you're doing another stupid decision.
Somewhere in my notes, I'm like, is this typecasting at this point?
You guys know there's going to be a John Wick 2?
There is a John Wick 2.
John Wick 3, Kat.
What?
Yeah, we're already up to 2.
Yeah.
What? I need to watch 2 immediately. Immediately.
Actually, I haven't watched it yet myself just because I'm like, I don't want to go through another dog.
He wouldn't get another dog, would he?
He got another dog at the end of the movie, Kat.
Oh shit, that's right.
Yeah.
They wouldn't kill a second dog, would they?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh god.
I don't know.
We can't trust them. Which is nice. Like, that's the other thing about, the storyteller. Once the storyteller does something terrible, like kill a fucking dog, they could do anything. You just have to hold on at that point.
Yeah, because they went that far. How much further are they willing to go?
Which, I admit, I think I'm a little concerned is that's why people add rape scenes so early on in a lot of their fiction. By the way, listener, don't fucking add rape scenes into your fiction just for shits and giggles and to show how badass you are.
What?
Which I'm concerned.
But it will shock people. And that will...
but it shows how tough my main character is. Meanwhile, let me just torture her endlessly.
It shows how much I hate women.
Yeah, and then afterwards she'll just stab the guy, and then
she'll feel better.
And there will be no trauma after.
That's okay, there'll be a magical penis to help her.
Cough, cough, David Cage, cough.
Whoa!
Oh.
Wow.
I
The
hear you,
subtext
Al.
is rapidly becoming text.
I was subtweeting hugely, but apparently that wasn't good enough.
Though actually, he has that.
He has a tendency.
It wasn't active in his latest game, but it was implied.
Barf, barf, barf.
So veering off that topic, that's such a fun topic.
I'd rather have the dog die than a rape scene randomly in the beginning. I'll say it. It's different, and it's not necessarily woman-hating, although, well, Pip, I suspect you're about to go there.
I was going to go to a happy place, but okay.
Oh. I thought you were going to talk about fridging.
No, I was thinking of bringing up how there was two female characters, and they both die. One
True.
before the movie even starts.
So that his feelings get hurt. Is oh my god, is the puppy Daisy a girl puppy?
Probably. Yeah.
I was having that exact same thought.
Motherfucker.
They fridged the dog.
They fridged the fucking
did.
dog.
They did.
Like,
So, oh my god.
for listeners at home, can we one more time define what fridging is, Pip?
Fridging is when a female character, usually, is killed off in order to advance the emotional arc of a male character. This comes from, I want to say it was a Green Lantern comic book, wherein his girlfriend was literally stuffed into a fridge.
Sexily.
Trigger warning for that.
Just
Yeah.
add that to the notes.
It occurs a lot, because we always need to further the man story, because they're the only ones with emotional needs.
Wait, quick question though. Does the death of either his wife or his dog, I think it propels his story, but does it, address his emotional needs?
Not really. I think need for revenge.
It propels the plot, I'll say that.
Yeah, yeah.
If anything, it has him regress to homicidal rage.
Yeah.
Brings back the man he used to be.
But he pulls out some suits, puts on a tie, because murder is a black tie affair.
I'll say this. I do love it when you have, the kick-ass action scenes in a suit.
Yeah.
I do too, but I imagine we like it for different reasons.
Look, you don't know.
Dress for success.
Don't box Brendan in.
Fair enough. I just think it's super hot when men wear suits and kill things.
It's also hot when women wear suits and kill things.
Yeah, no, it is also hot when women do it too. It's pretty great. I remember I was texting Ashley, who does our transcriptions, while I was watching the movie, trying to explain why I was doing this.
Because Ashley was no fool. She didn't join you on this one.
No, because at one point I was texting her going, "Oh, I'm watching John Wick," and I was like, the dog hasn't shown up yet." And then 10 minutes later, a few minutes later, "Oh, there's a dog." A few minutes later, I'm like, "The dog is dead," and she's like, "What is happening?" But then, I was commenting how, he was putting on the suit and it was, super great. And, I'm thinking to myself that all it needs to really fit into my perfect aesthetic is for him to go to church afterwards.
Well, he does. He does go to a church.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, this movie was clearly made for me.
Yep.
It's not quite as up there as Kingsman, where there's a suit and fighting inside the church.
Such a great fight scene.
Perfect
starring
fight.
Colin Firth. Yeah.
Starring Colin Firth.
Oh, yeah.
Colin Firth
damn, that was
in
great.
a suit, in a church, killing bigots.
Yeah.
Oh, in a continuous shot.
And actually, tie into the Mummy episode, the preacher was one of the men who was the Americans in the Mummy.
Really?
Wow.
Huh. Hot. Anyway.
Yeah. Now the listeners know way too much about me.
Oh, we all knew about you, little miss. Where's Matt? Where's Matt? Daredevil? What?
Fuck you. I was thinking about him a few minutes ago, but I don't remember why now.
You don't need a reason.
So anyway, back on task here. One thing I think this story did really well was establishing backstory without having to do too much awkward narration. I mean, you get a little bit with the, oh yes, we called him the Baba Yaga.
Ugh.
But
That's all you really need.
But the thing is, you know what sells it more? Kind of hinted at it with my little intro there. It's just whenever John Wick is mentioned for the first time to a character, the instant reaction is, oh.
Well, John Leguizamo was the first hint of this. Where we're and bless John Leguizamo for like the 5 minutes he's on fucking screen. He sold it.
Yeah.
Sold it.
Where'd you get that car?
Mm-hmm.
He instantly knew what it was. It's been 5 fucking years. Does not matter. Like, where'd you get the car? Really? Bam!
Well, because when you stare death in the face, you don't forget what he looks like.
Ooh. Nicely said.
Pip.
Thank you. I am very proud of myself.
I'm sorry. I hear an image quote on our Twitter in a week from now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I have in my notes, I love how everyone except Greyjoy is like, shit, when they hear about this.
Everybody of a certain age.
Yeah, the young lawyer or guy doesn't know what's going on.
Perkins doesn't really understand it either. She knows of him, but she doesn't know him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's just a young buck who wants to make a name. I didn't mind her death. I'm like, you know what? You earned this. Well done, girl.
Yeah.
I'm annoyed because she was the only female character.
Aside from that, you know...
Killing the character of color.
Yeah, okay, yeah. John Leguizamo didn't die, though.
That's true. I love that.
I will say they did a lot with such a small cast, really. I mean, we have tons of unnamed guards dying, but yeah.
I love how this cast is just a whole slew of, I know you from somewhere. And at no point do I ever refer to these, in my notes, as these characters by their actual names, except for John Wick, or by their actor's name. I have Mayhem. I have Greyjoy. I'm like, at one point I'm like, Odin's here!
Oh yeah.
Wait, what?
Odin from American Gods.
Oh, I was about to say, I do not recall.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Sir Anthony Hopkins in John Wick 3.
He would have been great.
For 5 minutes and he's fucking gone.
Yeah.
As he likes to live his life these days.
Seriously.
I mean, he's killing it in Westworld, so.
Is he in Westworld?
I haven't seen Westworld.
Yes.
I need to watch Westworld.
I keep not being certain whether or not it's good or if it's going to be seriously disappointing on like a colonialism scale.
No.
And that's Brendan's official opinion.
We can talk about it
later.
No, it's a good series.
Anyway, go on.
What did you guys think of the stylized subtitles?
I liked it at first.
Which one was those?
The subtitles when they were like in different places and had different words in different colors.
Oh yeah.
The Baba Yaga. The Boogeyman.
Like, I liked it at first, but after a while, I was like, no, I actually need these subtitles to be functional.
Accessible, even?
so I can read them.
Oh.
Guys, can I have a brief moment? I'm sorry, Alex, I didn't mean to interrupt you. My bad. Go on.
Well, I think you're going to bring up what I was going to bring up, which was translating Baba Yaga to Boogeyman.
Every time they said, oh yes, he is Baba Yaga, I'm like, where's his fucking flying mortar and pestle? I'm sorry, does his house have chicken legs? No?
Yeah.
I kept waiting for there to be like a secret hint that there were chicken legs, because that would have been fucking hilarious. I'm like, oh.
Is this an example of you knowing too much about this?
Yeah. I'm like, oh, is he a tiny Russian grandmother?
But Kat, as you might recall, the father didn't say that he was the boogeyman. He was the man that they sent to kill Baba Yaga.
Okay. First of all, he did actually fucking refer to him as Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
He sang the little song, which admittedly was great, and would have been even better if I didn't know who Baba Yaga was. For fuck's sake. I'm so...
Oh, little folklorist rage.
Remember, we're trying to mass market this, so...
I am a folklorist. I think that... Oh, are you talking about the movie? I thought you were talking about our podcast. I'm like, fuck that. I will talk about this.
No. The movie, they want to have some tie-in that a Russian character would...
I got one for you.
got
one for you. There was a Russian sorcerer, okay, who hid his heart in a fucking egg in the middle of like a tree stump or something like that so that he could never die. Okay?
That's hardcore.
That would have been and you know what his one weakness was? Love.
That would have worked really well.
That would have worked really well.
It could have been. I mean, we don't know what the writer's room was like. That could have been the first draft.
The dude's name was Ivan. It could have been great. Wait, guys. Ivan. Is that the Russian version of John?
Might be.
According to Wikipedia, that bastion of reliability, Ivan is a Slavic male given name, a variant on the Greek name, Greek that I can pronounce, English, John.
Okay, I don't want to jump the gun here a bit, but I know what my story change is.
Do you want to start getting into that, then?
Fuck it. Yes, I do. I'm angry. And the reason...
I like the implication that you didn't have one already.
Shut your face. So anyway... Implication.
I mean, same, but whatever.
Listen, okay, this is actually, this is very important in terms of for our listening audience. Listening audience, part of why we do this, part of why you watch other things, why you read other things, is so that you can look at something and get really fucking angry about it because they got it wrong, or because you know it could have been better. Ladies and gentlemen, this could have been so cool!
You know, I slightly related. It reminds me of one of the things I think Dad says when you're telling a story is you make it as truthful as possible, as surrounded with as much truth as possible so that people will believe the lie. Cause if you get some detail wrong, someone's gonna know and it's gonna snap them out of the story and they're gonna recognize the whole thing as fake.
It's kind of like if you write a story about, like, sailors at sea in the 1800s and you don't know every single technical detail about sailing. Someone is going to be pissed.
True story.
If you use the wrong knot on that sail.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, true story. You remember the movie, it was one of, M. Night Shyamalan's ones, The Village. In The Village, we start the story in, like, this, pseudo Pilgrim Times someplace in North America. The watchers are supposed to assume that this is history times. We come on, the opening scene is the death of a small child, and the small child, their coffin is being lowered into a grave. This is before the first 5 minutes have happened. When I first watched that movie in theaters, I turned to my then spouse and whispered in their ear, "This story is actually set in the present day. That's the twist." Because the rope was nylon. Thank you and good night.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So continue your,
Yeah, continue your story at it.
Okay, so actually I just did a quick lookup, and the actual name of this sorcerer was Koschei the Deathless. Ivan was the name of the hero.
Oh, ooh, actually that...
Who killed it?
Koschei got rid of his soul in order...
like you do.
So that he would be immortal. He hid it in a needle, inside an egg, in a duck, in a rabbit, in an iron or crystal chest, and buried it in an oak tree on his secret, mysterious island. Okay?
Like you do.
I feel like there are too many steps involved.
I'm sorry, are you doubting how many steps you need to be immortal, Pip?
I'm just saying, if you're hiding your soul, if you put that many layers of protection on it, at that point it becomes obvious what you're doing.
We're getting into, there was an old lady who swallowed a fly territory.
Anyway.
I think she died.
Pro tip to any necromancers out there, put your soul just in a safety deposit box in, like, Bayonne, New Jersey. I think you'll be okay.
Voldemort tried that shit. No.
No, he enchanted a magic object first.
But it did get stored in Gringotts.
He could have just put it all in, like, sand. Okay, that's getting the whole argument about Voldemort and his multiple errors in evil.
Like not throwing the baby out the window.
Seriously.
Continue.
I like how we're like, Voldemort's biggest problem was that he was not efficiently evil.
I want my evil to be efficient. That's all I ask in life.
Anyway, so Koschei falls in love with some other dude's girl, kidnaps her. The other dude is Ivan. Ivan goes on a rampage to go and get her back. I'm saying...
Like you do.
Wouldn't it be... And of course, he's nice to an old woman in the woods, and the old woman in the woods is like, bro, let me tell you, coincidentally, here's how you kill Koschei the Deathless. I'm now kind of wondering whether or not that old woman in the woods was Baba Yaga. Because that'd be hilarious.
It's entirely possible. She shows up everywhere.
She does show... Oh my god, you guys, it was Baba Yaga! She was a trickster. She was a witch, man. But yes, the old woman who he helped in the woods was Baba Yaga. And she's like, BTW, here's how you kill Koschei the Deathless, who's on my shit list this week.
Fuck that guy.
No reason. I'm just sharing it to be sharing it, but here's how you murder this dude.
But if you want to kill him. So anyway, how cool is it? Okay. John Wick was, let's just say, boogeyman at this time, working with the Russian mob, meets and falls in love with a woman, becomes just John. Right? John, Ivan. And then she dies, his soul is gone, whatever.
Or are they the guns that he had buried underneath the house that he had to break loose?
Oh my god. And, let's get the dog in there somehow, symbolism. I haven't really worked at this, but the point is...
his wife was Baba Yaga.
Oh my god. That'd be pretty cool.
Okay.
Oh, so she was in the Russian sphere of influence.
Everybody knew that he left.
And she gave him the gift of love.
Oh.
And the trick to killing. Like Koschei and all that.
She knew how to kill Koschei the Deathless. And she tried to prevent it in this story.
Oh.
And you know what happened? Fucking Russians. Who don't know their stories. This is why folklore is important, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait, so what is the exact change you're doing then? Just
honestly, I think that my change is getting rid of the Baba Yaga bullshit that they had going on in the story, because it's clearly not the folklore they should have been following.
So it's like a stylistic change?
This is in some ways a stylistic change, and because honestly, I like this movie a whole lot. I like it the way it is a whole lot. My biggest problem was the Baba Yaga thing. And so this is just a very simple change. It might help tighten up some of the symbolism, tighten up some of the parallels, and it would have been a very nice Easter egg for those of us in the know, as opposed to a slap in the face for those of us who are looking for chicken legs.
I mean, to be fair, do you ever see his house's legs? I never saw his house's legs. They could be chicken legs.
At that point, though,
what?
Most houses don't have chicken.
Most, but can you assume that?
What kind of house was it? Like, was it one of those over a cliff kind of deals? Because those things have stilts.
Ooh.
Nah, it was like a house in Jersey.
Oh yeah, he lives in Jersey.
All I know is I liked the house.
It was a nice
Yeah,
house.
it was a nice house.
It's a good house to hide your soul in. What?
And the bodies.
And raise a dog.
Oh.
Anyway, so that's my change. I don't really have a whole lot because I actually really, for what this is, it was great.
Okay. Do you mind if I go next then?
Go for it.
Okay. One of the things that kind of struck out for me as I watched it again, because I actually watched this a second time just for the episode here.
So responsible.
And that was, in a second viewing, it kind of struck me just how weird the father ended up being in the movie, given what he knows about John Wick's abilities. It kind of made the father a bit more of a foolish character, because they have all this backstory. He knows exactly how deadly John Wick is. Better only send small groups of men at a time against them. Yeah. And so in a way, it almost made Act 3, the little final chase scene there, kind of an anticlimax for me. Like, I got the payoff really when he finally caught up to Theon Greyjoy, Yosef, and just did the blam blam done.
I actually kind of like that because Well, Yosef's father was pretty much doing suicide by John.
Yes.
At that point, if that could have been a bit more established, perhaps, yeah. As my change is that I just want to make Act 3 a bit more strong. Again, because as I was watching it again, it just felt like, oh, we got to, getting to Yosef. Okay, we still have a little bit of loose ends here with the father. Let's tie that off. What I would think about doing is maybe dialing back the father's role a little bit, at least in terms of direct confrontation with John in the first half of the movie. But then that way we can potentially have an echo of what John went through more strongly with the father, as it kind of becomes like an emotional gut punch for him that, oh shit, my son is, dead. That's just what went through my mind. I don't know exactly how I'd approach it. I just want to have the finale a little bit stronger than basically suicide by John Wick,
I did like it when he laughed in the car, though, when like Mayhem was like trying to be like, this is very serious, and he's like, ha ha ha.
Do you want this gun? Do you want this gun?
Yeah, that's the thing. It kind of felt like a little anticlimactic to me. I understand what was going on, and not to say it was bad. I mean, don't read into what I'm saying too much here. I thought the movie was fantastic as well. It's just, if I'm going to be nitpicky, and Lord knows that's what we try and do here sometimes, I just want to have like revenge versus revenge, who comes out on top. You know what I mean, guys?
Yeah.
Maybe all that's needed in that final act is just showing like less of the father being kind of, again, suicidal, but more like, I am so pissed off now, there's nothing I could do to protect my son. And there's just the anger as opposed to like, I'm screwed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I also feel like his reckless behavior at the end could also have been tightened up a bit more to maybe explain why his son was so reckless at the start. Like, look at that apple not far from that tree.
Guy thought he was
like
safe
that.
from Wick.
Yeah.
That was just like one thing that kind of struck me while watching the movie is like the church scene. It's like, my men will now choke you to death while I leave the room.
That was unnecessary.
No. Like, bro, you always make sure the body's dead before you leave.
We learned that back when the X-Files was on, man. No body, no death.
Horror movies 101.
Also, I appreciated how during some of the action scenes, John Wick was actually double tapping a lot of his kills.
True.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that is a mark of a true professional.
Well, he certainly is one.
Oh, yeah. I like that attention to detail.
He is a professional. I did love that,
Yeah, I only noticed it partway through, so I'm not sure if he was doing it the whole time.
Not really early on, like that first fight scene in his house. He was mostly just doing headshots.
Fair enough.
I would have appreciated a little bit more background as to, not the folklore, but the cultural surroundings of all those gold coins. Like, you earn a coin. We find out that he's got like 80 billion of those things. Like, what the shit?
And it's a coin each to get rid of a dead body.
There's so much that's so well fleshed out about this universe of, like, random assassins. Like, and here's the cleaners, and here's John Leguizamo, and everybody knows about this hotel, and...
Wait, are we talking about assassin?
Oh my god!
Again?
Assassin. There were no little old ladies, though, so this doesn't fit entirely into our personal...
I think we were talking about Assassin's Creed.
Pip and Al still have story changes to do, so...
Oh, true. Come on, little old ladies. Bobby, you got a little old lady! I'm sorry.
Yes, that's all I have is tighten up Act 3 somehow. Make it a bit more strong.
Okay.
Alex, do you mind if I go, or do you want to? Alright. So I'm not going to bring in the little old ladies.
Damn.
I'm tempted to turn this into an Assassin's Creed movie, now that I've, thought of it. But that basically just involves adding a hood and a lot more jumping from buildings.
And a stick, maybe?
But no, what I'm actually going to do is, Kat, you mentioned the sort of occult nature of some of this.
Yes.
And I figured, fuck it. Instead of making it symbolic, let's add some fucking magic.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Because, like I said, I actually like this movie as it is. Of course, it could use more women and people of color. And of course, it should be more queer, because that's what every movie should have more of.
I'm sorry, you can't tell me that John Wick and, was it Goblin, didn't,
Willem Dafoe
didn't have, an arrangement.
Well, yes.
But you're right. Outwardly queering.
Yeah, like, those things, yes, all of those. But I'm just going to talk about the magic part.
Mm-hmm.
Which, really, in my idea, is not actually going to change anything. It's just how he's killing people.
Yes. Wait, are you just remaking Constantine now?
No. Because, one, I don't remember a lot of Constantine.
Did you even watch it?
Yes.
Wait, really? When?
Like, in the theaters.
Yeah, okay, it's not the comic book, it will never be the comic book, but if you ignore the fact that it was supposed to be the comic book, it was a great movie.
Oh yeah, good time. I have some of the comics sitting on my coffee table
Go on.
that I need to read. Anyway, what did hell look like before the Industrial Revolution? It's a quote from a fic.
I remember that fic!
Good, because I do not remember anything
I know exactly
else
which
about
one it is.
Sorry. Thank you. But no, because there is all this sort of background mysticism, the reference to Baba Yaga, who is secretly Koschei the Deathless,
mm-hmm.
And these, coins that are going around, and this adherence to rules.
Oh my god, the Fae.
Yeah. Who else adheres to rules? The goddamn fair folk. Maybe, John Wick was Tam Lin.
Ooh.
And, Janet came by, held him close, and held him tight, and freed him from this life. But what happens if Janet dies? What has he got left? Murder in his heart.
Yeah. So you're saying that Yosef's father was Queen of Fairies?
Why not?
Titania?
Yeah. This would explain so much about why, what's his head? Guy who played John Wick always has that, weird dead-eyed look. It's because his eyes got...
Keanu Reeves?
His eyes got taken out and put in a tree. And yes, Keanu Reeves. I love Keanu Reeves, but his eyes are creepy.
Well, he doesn't age.
He's a vampire.
Which is another point in our favor. But yeah, no, so nothing in my version really changes. It's just Sonny, instead of, a ton of guns, it's, magic missiles.
Nice.
And shielding and breaking those shieldings, and Sonny breaking into a church has a lot more oomph, yeah. Though I was thinking to myself that when John Wick, when the priest was all he'll kill me, and in my head I was like, well, he'll kill you later, or John Wick will kill you now. If you're killed later, you have time to confess for all the shit you've been doing.
You know what else, though?
Yeah.
Fairy gold.
And then Yosef spilled the blood of an innocent animal in someone else's home.
Oh. Don't do that shit.
So John Wick was perfectly within his rights to fuck shit up.
Do you think just to add insult to injury there, John Wick even offered, was it food and drink and hospitality in his home to the visitors?
No, but that's what you get when you're in the hotel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's some Fae shit in there. The Fae like jazz, we know this.
Well, he was offered a drink when he went to the hotel.
And he drank it.
And I remember thinking to myself, if I were John Wick, I would be drinking only unopened bottles of water.
Seriously.
But yeah, that's really all I have to say. Is let's add more people of color, queer people, women, and also magic.
You have one queen of the Fae. You could have the Winter Queen as well at play, and that's why there's all this weird play happening with breaking into John Wick's house, Tam Lin's house, whatever.
I don't know, I really like sticking with Tam Lin because Tam Lin was a fucking wreck before Janet showed up. It took Janet to get his ass out of that. And so what happens if Janet dies? Tam Lin, it's a ticking time bomb before he goes splah.
Yeah.
And he remembers all that power he used to have.
Mm-hmm.
And he's no longer beholden.
Nope. No, he's not.
Could go renegotiate a new deal.
Ooh. Maybe he's gonna take over Fairyland.
Oh, does that make, like, Willem Dafoe, like, the Goblin King?
Okay.
He did play Green
He
Goblin.
did play Green Goblin.
That's what I was going for.
We should watch The Labyrinth is what we should do.
Yes, we should. Anyway, go on.
That's pretty much all I had.
Cool.
Magic.
All right. Magic. Mic drop. Done.
I really want this.
Gay magic.
Now I really just want a separate story of Tamlin after Janet dies.
Write it. Write it.
Anyway, I'm saying magic, more than just white men, and more people in suits. Because they were there, but we could always use more.
More suits. Amen.
And women. Women.
Women in suits.
All right, who's left?
That would be me.
Go for it.
Okay. So, my favorite scene in that movie was in the bathhouse area. And when John Wick is shooting up the place, and he looks Yosef dead in the eye and shoots one of his bodyguards. He could have just shot him right there. But no, he chooses to shoot the bodyguard, and then I'm convinced that he let him run. Because
Okay.
because he is making this experience more terrifying for Yosef. He's dragging it out. Shooting a damp dweeb through some glass isn't that hard. We see him constantly making headshots from across the room without even really looking.
Okay, so that's what happened. What's your change?
What I'm saying is that just kind of shift perspectives. Turn this in from an action movie into kind of a suspense thriller.
Oh.
As Yosef tries to run away from this fucking guy.
This force of nature.
A more effective Terminator?
They call him Baba Yaga. And you hear what sounds like, is that chicken legs in the background? What? No,
So move it from his point of view to Yosef's.
yeah. And no matter where Yosef runs, no matter where he goes, John Wick is one step behind, and every time just another one of his bodyguards dead. You bang.
Or another one of his friends.
Yeah. So it's just him and, I don't know, his fucking dog.
Oh, no.
Just all the dogs die.
Wait, does how he's killing them change?
It can still be guns.
Okay.
I'm not much for a splatter horror, because, why?
Fair enough.
That's a whole separate argument.
Well, for me, they've two entirely different parts of the brain, and so, But anyways, so it can still be through guns, or knives, or getting their face shoved into the ceramic of a sink.
Yeah.
Pick one.
Yeah, and he asks his father, "What did I do?" And his father's like, "There's nothing you can do but run. I'll try to hold him off."
Nice.
And then, I don't know, when John Wick catches up, he tosses his father's ring in the floor in front of Yosef.
His father's what? I'm sorry.
His father's ring.
Which one?
He's a mob boss. He'd have a signet ring.
Oh no, so that's how Yosef finds out that his dad snuffed it too?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
at that point, does Yosef become like an anti-hero?
Oh no, he's still the fucking worst. Have you ever seen the movie Hard Candy?
I have not.
It is a excellent suspense movie starring Ellen Page.
Mm-hmm.
She is a killer of internet creeps.
Nice.
The kind who take photographs of young girls.
Aha. I see.
Yeah.
And is her current, is the movie about her?
Is her current target.
That's awesome.
So one thing I'd suggest, Al, is going for the kind of like I wouldn't say ironic kind of turn of events, but like the hoisting by their own petard kind of thing. But anyway, go on.
Oh, he's still hoisted by his own for petard because he thought he was a hot shit gangbanger.
I love that idea that he thought he was a hot shit gangbanger, and then this is just a very carefully executed demonstration of how he totally is not.
No, because there are forces that he does not even know.
Magic forces.
Yes. Magic forces.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like fucking magic. He shot the guy in the eye without even looking at him. I don't know if he shot a guy in the eye without even looking at him, but I'm very certain he did.
That sounds like the kind of thing he'd do.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so that's my take.
Awesome.
Cool beans.
Guys, is it that time? Is it time for
To play a game?
a game?
I think so. And I actually have a suggestion for one this time.
Ooh.
All right. I'm suggesting a butterfly flaps its wings.
Oh, please tell the listening audience.
A butterfly flaps its wings is what happens if you make one small change early on in the story. And I have one that completely changes everything.
Oh no. Go for it.
The change is when John's wife clearly has all this forethought into ordering a beagle puppy for her husband to kind of have him take care of after she passes on. Mm-hmm. She has the foresight to also pre-order the kennel, dog food, dog toys, training manuals, everything that he'll need so that he doesn't have to leave the house that day that the dog arrives. He just has a pleasant day playing with a puppy, and then he never sees the Russian mobs, and instead it becomes a delightful romantic comedy story where he takes the dog to obedience class, and it's an assassin in a fish out of water romantic comedy where he falls in love with the obedience trainer.
Who's Perkins? That's her day job.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I'm thinking of taking a job inside the hotel. Don't. What?
Don't.
Listen, here's what's gonna happen if you do.
So that's my one small change early on. Just a little bit of extra foresight.
What if somebody comes to rob the trainer, like rob the training academy, and then it's John Wick and Perkins together, finally using using their skills. She doesn't realize like how great John Wick really was. He's just been put out to pasture. Surely, like, this isn't the thing he does anymore. She'll defend the home fires. And meanwhile, he's like, somebody's fucking with these dogs. I can't be having this.
It's go time.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It could happen.
I love that.
I just think it'd be funny to have a quirky fish out of water comedy with an assassin.
And you stop John Wick from having the no good, awful, very bad day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the dog lives.
And the dog lives. So can I do mine?
Yeah.
So here's what I'm thinking. What if the wife doesn't die?
Ooh. Go on.
But they still get the puppy, right?
Okay.
It's still gonna be sad.
Oh no.
Because that day still happens, she just stays at home that day. To sort of look after the puppy while John, gets up the car, gets supplies, that sort of thing. And then that tragic night happens, still, and the puppy dies. But they both live. Mm-hmm. And it turns out they were both assassins.
So you're going for a Mr. and Mrs. Smith thing.
Yeah, but they both, in my world, they both knew. They just both got out of the game.
Okay.
Maybe they were assassins for different people, and they happened to meet, and, on the job, like you do.
Romeo and Juliet.
With guns.
I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying they happen to work for different people. They,
But that was their history, just FYI.
Anyway, they met at a work event.
At the hotel!
Yes!
You want to buy a drink? No, I'm not drinking the shit here. Me either.
And so, their dog is tragically killed, and they're both like, well, fuck that. Even though she was clearly the emotional stability of that relationship.
Oh my god, guys, what if she was like the practice kid? They were just starting to talk about it, and they're like, we're not sure, really, we're like assassins, would we be good with a kid? I know, let's get a dog, and then, like, they don't talk about it, though, that's like their whole, like, running thing during the course of the movie, so they're not talking about how they were practicing with this dog, and then, like, that's like a big emotional denouement or something like that between the two of them, and also, cause they're realizing that, fuck, the dog dies and we instantly become huge killers again. Like, would that have been okay if that had happened to our kid? And they realized, yeah, actually, if somebody fucked with our kid, we will totally murder everyone.
That's called parenting.
Yeah.
The family that slays together stays together.
Yeah.
Quick question. If you guys were spy assassins, would you treat each of your kids to be spy assassins? Or would you try to keep them away from the game?
Okay. I actually have an answer to this one. because I didn't, ladies and gentlemen, I'm revealing for the first time on No Story is Sacred. No, because as you guys know, we were raised with a great deal of knowledge about folklore and so forth. What to do about fairy circles and what not to do and what have you. On the one hand, I think that this is valuable information, just in case. On the other hand, I also think it's a little screwy. So, the way I get around this is by helpfully including tiny lessons about, folklore and whatnot in the children's everyday fairy tales. I just sneak it in there. And I feel it's that you can do the same sort of thing with Spy Assassin stuff. You just sneak it in there. You're not directly saying, by the way, this is how you murder a man.
Which everyone needs to know.
You just go into some detail about what Little Red Riding Hood did with the wolf.
How she took care of the wolf problem in the woods.
Remember, honey, go for the hamstrings first.
And don't pick fights with people who are obviously Russian mafia.
Yeah. It's stuff like that. You sneak it in there. Anyway. You can't tell me that in, the Marvel universe, Aunt Natasha isn't busily telling Clint's kids,
That's why she's not allowed alone in a room with them.
Here's a jeté, here's this, and if you move your foot just a little bit like that, that's how you kill a man.
She babysitted those kids once. Once.
Whose turn is it?
It's my turn.
Yay! Alex, your turn.
Right. For my small change, Yosef's dad, who I'm very certain has a name.
Vigo.
Vigo.
That was the only actual name I wrote down. Because I kept thinking, how great would this be if he was played by Viggo Mortensen?
A history of ultra-violence.
A similar movie.
Yeah.
So, what I'm saying is, Vigo, after, explaining to his son exactly how he fucked up.
So bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
In the movie, he reacts with, okay, so the solution here is to put a hit on John and have my son stay in New York. That is obviously the correct answer. The small change I'm thinking is, your name is no longer Yosef. Here's a ticket to Borneo. So long.
I'll let you know when you can come back.
The answer is never.
Well, no, but the kid still lives.
Yeah. And John can then storm into who Vigo's play is and go, where's the kid? He's gone. I kind of told him what was up, and he's spooked.
Kids these days, you can't keep track of them.
So what happens from there?
The story kind of falls apart, as it becomes John trying to track down the kid.
Well,
where on earth is Joseph? I don't know his last name.
Here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Is John tracks down and kills Joseph and all that gang because they killed his dog, and he can't track down and kill the cancer that killed his wife.
Ooh.
This is an actionable thing that he can do with his grief.
Mm-hmm.
So without that actionable thing that he can do with his grief, because he can't kill the cancer that killed his wife, can't kill the thugs that killed his dog, he falls into despair again.
And
this time he doesn't have final parting death puppy.
He doesn't have an emotional support dog at the end.
Oh no.
No.
That's when Willem Dafoe comes back and says, I can't stand seeing you like this. And the rest of it is gay assassins in love. Thank you!
Yeah!
So I'm just imagining John Wick in a pit of despair, just, becoming just death on wheels for any of the mobs and assassins and all that out there.
He gets reckless about it.
Yeah.
Because John Wick in this movie had a fucking mission.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But without that mission, it just falls apart.
I'm now imagining him getting dressed up in his suit. He's taking a shower. He is uncovered his guns. He's put on the suit, and he's waiting for the hit squad to show up. And then they don't. It's calls up Vigo. Hey, what's going on?
You win, John. That's the other small change that could happen is just
you win. Killed the kid myself.
Yeah. Check out the UPS package that's in your front yard right now.
Yep, it was a dick move by my kid. Shouldn't have done it, and we're good, right? We're good. Please tell me we're good.
We're good.
Here, have his dick, since he's Theon Greyjoy.
Oh, man.
And on that note, Cat.
All right, I'm going to go for the one I'm actually genuinely surprised none of you mentioned. Mm-hmm. My small change is the dog doesn't die.
Why didn't we go for that?
I don't know. Well, because it's a stupid story is what it is. If the dog doesn't die, then you're stuck with... John Wick's only issue is that somebody beat him up and took his car. Now, to be fair, that's enough to piss off John Wick. Is it enough for him to go on a gigantic murder rage? No. So then you have a story where it's, let's say the puppy ducked out of sight and comes over and licks John's wounds. And John thinks to himself, this could have been really bad. I have to make sure that these young ones do not have any problem remembering who I am. And so then it becomes less of a murder rampage and more of it's time for an important lesson. And I, to be fair, I kind of like the idea of him going around deliberately not killing these dudes, but killing, everybody around him, or just seriously kneecapping everyone. Making it very obvious that that kneecap could have easily been your throat. And, meanwhile, everybody else, Theon Greyjoy is going around to all of his, his folks and John Leguizamo being like, oh my god, this is happening. They're like, what did you think was going to happen? Good thing you didn't kill his fucking dog.
You'd be fucking dead if you did
just
that.
Just bring back his car and let him pistol whip you. And then maybe it'll be done. And then, I'm imagining, some scene at the end where, there's John Wick. They're on a pier for some reason. I don't really know why. And Theon Greyjoy has brought the car back and has, he's carefully put it back together again and, made sure it's not scratched up or anything
Waxed.
like that.
Fresh coat of wax.
Yes, exactly. And then John Wick's, just standing there impassive while Theon Greyjoy carefully tries to figure out how to apologize. And finally John's like, and to the dog. And Theon Greyjoy's like, what? He's like, apologize to the dog. You scared him. And Theon's like, I'm not gonna apologize to no fucking dog. And then
pistol.
John Wick pulls it, pistol, and then just sighs and walks off without taking his car because kid hasn't learned his lesson yet. Gonna have to do it again. And so the movie ends on this jolly note.
A jolly note of murder.
No, it's not. He's not murdered yet. This kid is just gonna have to learn more lesson, because evidently he hasn't gotten it yet.
So it's kind of like a PG-13 John Wick.
Basically, but, obviously with lots of shooting and so forth. But, there's a weird comedic edge on it. Yeah, I think it may even bring in the manners part. Instead of a revenge story of manners, it just becomes a mob story of manners, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. This is a world that's highly constrained by rules and history and so forth. And this kid evidently needs a lesson. And John Wick is here to be a teacher. He's a teacher of the young folk.
I'm a teacher.
The children are our future.
And I can imagine that line coming out of his fucking mouth. And meanwhile, he's having handy little conversations with his dog. He's showing the dog the gun, and he's like, and then you put the bullet into this chamber. I know. It's hilarious. And the dog, again, I love this, puts his paw over his nose at some point. I don't know.
It does the curious head tilt.
Yes. Mm-hmm. John's very careful, never puts the dog in any danger. He goes to the hotel. The hotel loves the dog.
Send his treats up.
Oh my god, can the dog earn his own coin? Yes.
Aww.
The dog rips someone's throat out.
So cute. Anyway, so that's mine. I think it's a little too cutesy for me.
Oh, I want to watch it.
Yeah, simple change right at the beginning. Dog doesn't die. Everything else, yes. There.
Okay.
That's my change.
Legit.
Fair enough. So, do we have anything else about John Wick?
No, but I think that was a good game, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, usually we go with when we like something, we tend to go with what would we do to make it worse? There's plenty of ways to make this worse. But I like let's change it to see what kind of other stories we can get.
Yeah.
Also, we hadn't done that one before, and we had it on the list for like a year.
Yeah, since we started this podcast. I think it's at the top of it or something. It's the top of the list.
Somewhere.
Whoops.
We're good at this, you guys.
I would also like to take a moment to apologize to Liddy.
Dear Liddy, oh my god.
She had a really thoughtful question.
Really thoughtful and in-depth, and we talked about...
we mentioned that you did it, and we were like, let's talk about this dead dog.
To be fair, the dog was kind of the real justification for having the murder rampage be justified to the audience.
Yeah.
And really, the net result at the end of the movie is one dog.
Oh my god.
And it was a rescue. He was rescuing a dog that was going to be put down. So.
And the dog rescued.
Oh.
So anyway, thank you, Liddy. And other listeners, please feel free to send us more stuff that we can either hideously mangle or not answer for 3 months.
Yay.
Or both.
Preferably both.
But yeah, the more you do it, the better we'll get at it.
Exactly. Help us practice. Teach us a lesson with no pistol whipping.
Or some pistol whipping.
Yeah, we'll take some.
Not me.
Oh, wait, I didn't know we had to opt out of this, Pip.
Not it.
As always, if you have a story to submit, head on over to nostoryissacred.com/submission. Follow us on Twitter at nostoryiссacred, or send an email through contact@nostoryiссacred.com. Your hosts have been Alex McDonald, Brendan McDonald, Pippin McDonald, and Catherine Crichton. Editing for this episode was done by Brendan. Transcript done by Ashley DaCosta. Art by Jay Wolf. Show notes and transcript are available at nostoryiссacred.com. Thanks for listening, everybody. And please rate, review, subscribe, and all that to No Story is Sacred. You can visit our Patreon page and support the show to get neat rewards at patreon.com/nostoryiссacred. See you next time when we take another spin at the Wheel of Tropes.
Wheel of Tropes.
Tropes 2, The Revenge.
Son of Tropes.
Until then, we're No Story is Sacred, and any story can be changed. I'm Brendan.
I'm Pippin.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Kat.
And we're No Story is Sacred.